So something I think would be really fun for my channel is going over the Pokemon teams I use in Pokemon Showdown and just talk about them. What I like about them, what I don't like about them, any strength or weaknesses they have, how fun they are to use, any gimmicks or they could be good or bad, whatever. Because I like talking about Pokemon. And hey, I talk about Pokemon every day. I make videos every day. So if you like that, why not like and subscribe? It makes me feel good. Anyways, for the start of these whole series, I want to talk about my favorite and probably my strongest team, which is my Gen 9 OU team for National Dex. And honestly, I like this team. I think it's really good, and it's really fun to use. I started off by trying to make a team for Mega Scizor because I love Mega Scizor. Scizor's my favorite Pokemon of all time, and hey, my model's even a Scyther-based guy, right? So yeah, basically my favorite team. Obviously, it has Mega Stone and Technician because you're Mega Scizor. You're not going to escape that. Obviously, Scizor has a really good typing. Bug and Steel, you're only weak to fire, you resist a whole bunch of types. That's really, really good. Now, I gave it an Impish Nature and gave it max HP and split defenses with also a little bit of speed. However, I am thinking of changing it up a little bit to make it an admin nature. And instead of giving it split defenses, I might give it just maximum HP and attack. Because I feel like it just works better for my team. And also, I'm thinking of changing Sword Dance into U-Turn because I feel like it gets countered by Gold Dingo way too much. And Gold Dingo is really, really good right now. It's one of the most used Pokemon in National X OU. And I just feel like I should probably change it. Because as it is now, it has Bullet Punch, Sword Dance, Boost, and Close Combat. 8. Bullet Punch is really, really good. Classic. Every Scizor should run Bullet Punch. And you get Technician Boost from Bullet Punch, Priority, +1, so you always go first, unless something like Sucker Punch goes first. And it helps off getting easy, just chip-in damage or any free kills. Sword Dance to boost the power, because why not? But I'm thinking of changing it to U-Turn for momentum. And Bruce's easy heals, why not just heal up? Scizor's really bulky, so like, it's going to heal up anyway, so why not do it and live longer? Close Combat is a really good coverage move. Uh, Fighting type is the best offensive typing, tied with uh, Ground for the most types that I can hit for super effective damage. So that's really, really good. My next Pokemon is Lando-T. Hey, it's a classic. Everyone knows how good it is. It has really good stats, a really good ability, and great typing. I mean, hey, it's just really, really strong. Now, originally, I did plan to make it more of a defensive Pokemon, but seeing as I already had 2 defensive Pokemon, I didn't really need another one. So, as it is now, I have Choice Scarf, so I can outspeed more things and do massive damage back. Because I don't really need something like heavy duty boots or let's say something like Rocky Helmet to do damage back at them. I feel like I want more speed, you know? Pair that with its jolly nature and really high physical attack stat, it does massive damage while also outspeeding most things with the Choice Scarf. As well as having a really good ability, so whenever I switch out, I can cripple the Pokemon that I'm fighting and just do massive damage back. I have U-Turn for pivots because as my team is, it's very highly prediction based, and that's both the upside and the downside of this team, honestly. I have Earthquake for massive damage because Stab, 8, it's really, really good. Earthquake is classic. You always want a ground type on your team. Almost all teams should have a ground type because ground types are just so good. And yeah, Stone Edge for any coverage moves, because ground doesn't hit stuff like flying types, so it can hit something like Zapdos or Tornadus, which is probably one of the strongest Pokemon in the tier right now. And then I also have Explosion. Now, this might seem a bit weird, because Explosion can be kind of bad at times, but as it is for this set, I want it so whenever Lando is about to die, or there's any Pokemon I really need to get rid of, which really gives me trouble, I can just use Explosion, Yes, I do die afterwards, but it does massive damage. 250 is really, really good. And hey, I also have a Terra Water type, so like that. Lando's weak to both water and ice, and I get to be resistant to them. It's cool. However, I do lose the really good immunities to ground and electric to really, really strong types. But hey, it's kind of worth it at times. I don't have to use it all the time. I can just save it. Or I could use another Pokemon Terra type, which is one of my other Pokemon I usually Terra type, which is Dragapult. Honestly, Dragapult's just here for raw power and speed. Like, it's a really, really strong Pokemon. A really good typing, good offensively, and now if you're just going to really outspeed it, because you have a 142 speed stat, really, really strong actually. Paired with timid nature and choice specs with maximum special attack in EVs, really, really strong. Infiltrator, because that's the best ability in my opinion. And then Fire Blast for any steel types that are annoying, like Ferrothorn, sorry about that, or Scizor. I have Draco Meteor for just the raw damage alone, because I am going to be switching out a lot, right? So I don't have to worry too much about it. And then I have Shadow Ball just for raw damage. Its stab paired with Terra Ghost does more damage. Times times 2 stab. That's really good. That's really good. I just have to worry about normal types, and that's pretty much it. And then U-turn again for obviously just pivoting out because again my team is prediction based. And yeah, now moving on to my first more defensive Pokemon is Rotom-wash. I love the typing of electric and water. I think it's really, really good. Paired up with levitate so that I'm immune to ground, which is a really strong type in my opinion. I really like the ground type, which gives me a second resistance to ground types. And paired with Terra Steel, I am no longer weak to ground for my steel typing. I think uh, Terra Steel is a good one because I also resist something like grass, which is my weakness. So yeah, that's something really, really nice. I do have leftovers, but I am also thinking of switching it up to heavy duty boots so I don't have to worry too much about something like, let's say, stealth rock damage, because I feel like that might hurt me too. Now I have um, almost max HP, almost max defense, and 100 speed with a bold nature. I want to live hits while also being able to outspeed some more slower Pokemon, right? I don't like being too slow, so I kind of want to give it a little bit more of a stat spread, right? Now, this role is be able to eat up hits, do a little bit of damage back with something like Hydro Pump and be able to predict a bit. So something like, let's say, Great Tusk or Garchomp I can do massive damage to, right? And then I have Defog to get rid of any kind of hazards like Sticky Web or Rocks, because those are annoying if you play singles. You know that stage hazards are just really, really strong, honestly. And then I have Thunder Wave. I am thinking of kind of switching off with Will-O-Wisp. However, I kind of went with Thunder Wave because for something like, let's say, Dragapult, who could run a special set like mine, I feel like being able to cripple both attackers is a little bit more stronger than being able to just weaken physical attackers. I might switch it off depending on how I feel, but it is a good idea to have Thunder Wave, obviously. Also, ground types are immune to it, which are another thing that might be a problem, but yeah. You can switch up however you like. I don't really care. I'm just using how I like to use it. And Volt Switch, again, pivot moves. My team is very prediction heavy. I like being able to pivot out whenever I want. And yeah, overall, a really solid team. A really solid Pokemon. Which leads me to my second defensive Pokemon, and probably one of my favorites of this team, which is Heatran. I really like Heatran. Heatran does a lot on my team. Like, it's a really good typing. I have Flash Fire, which gives immunity to Scizor, so I don't have to be too scared of fire type moves anymore. And I gave it Terra Bug, which is an odd typing that you might think, but I really like it. So the biggest problem with Heatran is that it's weak to ground and fighting, but with the bug typing, you actually resist both of those, right? And with Flash Fire, you are also immune to the fire weakness. So you're only weak to rock, which is a horrible type that I hate. I don't think rock type is good at all. And flying, which is a good typing. It's not really an offensive typing, so you don't really have to worry too much about that either, right? So it's pretty good. I gave it leftovers for the heals because I think leftovers actually work really, really well on Heatran. And I gave it Magma Storm. However, sadly, ever since lately, Magma Storm been missing a lot lately whenever I used it, which is sad because I like Magma Storm. It does massive damage with a 75 base power accuracy, and it just traps your opponent and do massive damage to them while they're stuck, pretty much. I have taunt for any kind of like cheese to get rid of them. So no rocks, no setup, no nothing. No toxic, no anything. To save any kind of like switchings I want to do, I have toxic again for just eating away their damage, having them die. And then Earth Power just because I like ground type moves, I think it's the best offensive typing. And for other Heatrans too. I have a calm nature with maximum HP. I have high special defense and a little bit of speed, so it can outspeed other Heatrans who might also be more specially defensively. And yeah, I like this Heatran. I think it works really, really well. And my last Pokemon is Tapu Koko. Honestly, I really like Tapu Koko. It's really fast. It hits really hard. The typing's pretty good offensively too. I have Electric Terrain, Terra Electric. It does massive damage with Thunderbolt with Electric Terrain on. Ooh, really, really strong. It does a lot of damage. Again, U-turn, obviously, switch out, get the priority move. Or not priority move. Switch out, get more of a way to see what my opponent does, you know? I have heavy duty boots because I don't want to have trouble with sticky webs or any kind of stealth rocks when I switch in and out. Because I usually run Tapu Koko as my lead for the most part, sometimes depending on the type of team they have. And then I have Hidden Power Ice for something like Garchomp or Lando again. Any kind of ground types, honestly. Because Ice is actually a really good offensive typing that I like. And then Dazzling Gleam. I don't know why they don't have something like Moonblast at all, but hey, fairy type move, I need it on there for anything like dragons. Stab move, it does more on something like, let's say, uh, Dragapult that I might be scared of, right? It just does more damage, pretty much. So yeah, I think that's my whole team. Obviously, I wanted to work it around Scizor, so I gave it something like Heatran. Heatran's weaknesses are countered by, or are checked by something like, let's say, Rotom-wash or Lando by being weak, but by resisting fighting and being immune to ground. I have I have Lando's weaknesses checked by Rotom-wash. I have uh, Heatran's also I have Dragapult who's also weak to that, or is immune to fighting, sorry. And then, again, Tapu Koko is weak to ground, switch into these two. He's weak to grass, switch into one of these Pokemon. So overall, or I have Fairy, these two resist. So yeah, overall, I really like this team and they work really, really well. I like all of their synergy. And yeah, I honestly really like this team. It's highly, highly prediction based, which is how I like to play the game. I love trying to be able to predict. It's really fun for me. And I highly recommend you try out this team. I will put it in the description or the comments anywhere, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, read just yet. Anyways, thank you for watching. Again, if you like this, why not subscribe? It makes me happy. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, goodbye.